What do you want me to talk about?
Talk about cardio. Hi, I'm Discipline Dave, and today we're going to talk about, do I need cardio to lose weight? Well, first and foremost, let's talk about the most important thing when it comes to losing weight. You got to make sure that your diet is in place. So I put a video up right over here that you can check out to see about what to eat to lose weight. And also below in the description, I have a complete free meal plan that you can follow to help you with this. Now, let's go on the subject of losing weight by doing cardio. So first, let's make this distinction between losing weight and losing body fat. Those are two separate things, and people kind of correlate those together. So when it comes to losing weight, you can do a lot of that by just dieting and not really exercising, lifting any type of weights or anything like that. That is possible. One of the great things I find with helping with that is using the keto diet. I talk about that in the other video about the difference between keto and intermittent fasting, but pretty much what I've learned is it doesn't matter what diet you use as long as you stick with it. Sticking with it is the key, and also something that you're going to stay with and follow with. So let's just make sure that we get that clear, is that your eating habits will have to change to reach your goals, because lowering body fat is the key to seeing those abs and getting that body that you want. Now, let's go back to talking about the differences between losing weight and losing body fat. There's different versions of what people think a body should look like or what is the ideal body, but I'm not here to discuss that. We're not about any type of body shaming or anything. If you're happy with the way that you look by just losing weight, then that's perfectly fine. When it comes to losing weight and dropping body fat, if you drop body fat, you may not necessarily lose weight, but aesthetically, you're gonna look very more defined. You're gonna have an athletic look to a body. You're gonna look like somebody who worked out. But there's people who lose weight and you see kind of like their face slimming and stuff like that, but their body itself aesthetically doesn't look like the way they thought it was going to look. Some people call that skinny fat. So I'm gonna bring up a couple examples what I mean by the differences between losing weight and losing body fat. I'm gonna show you a couple of images here. So in this first image, you'll take a look here that this is a person here. They've definitely lost weight, and it's a very good transformation here. But as you see, there's no type of definition in their chest, their abdominals. There's none in their arms. Their shoulders are kind of slumped here. As you can tell, this person just lost weight. Here is another example of a person here who they have a great transformation. They lost weight, but they have no toneness to their body. They lost some there, but it doesn't really have a lot of shape to it or anything like that. Now in this other image, you see here that this person worked out, they lifted weights, they did strength training, and they also lost body fat. So this is a good example of those things. And if you actually take a look at both of these images here, these people actually weigh the same. But the one on the right aesthetically looks like a person who is in the gym regularly. They have a more athletic build to them. They have better proportions from the head down. That's one of the examples that I'm talking about. I'm gonna put one more example here. As you can see here, this person was lifting weights and they also were dropping body fat. So here's another example of a person who did strength training along with dieting, and you can see aesthetically they look the same. And another example of the weight actually is not varied that much there. When it comes to doing cardio to lose weight, it is an element that should be the accessory, not the main course. When it comes to trying to drop that body fat or get that aesthetic look that you want. That's what we're here to kind of discuss. What should I do? What type of cardio? How long should I do it? All those different things. This is going to be different from everyone. there is no biological fairness. There isn't a way that you can pinpoint losing body fat. I get so many times, I get a lot of questions from people that are asking me, how can I lose my belly fat? How can I target that? You can't target a certain area to lose fat. So when it comes to that you do all the different things as far as your muscle groups, when it comes to upper body, lower body, all those little details, your back, all that there is going to really help you lose that overall body fat, because when you get down to a certain percentage, and that percentage is another question I get, it's different from a lot of people. On average, it can range between 15 to 10% before you start really seeing those muscles, those abdominals and stuff like that. So a combination of strength training, resistance training, weights, using bands, any of those things are going to help you get to your goals that you want to get to, along with cardio. Let's talk about different cardio that you can do and when to do it. What I like to do is do my cardio directly after my strength training, because my heart rate is up. I can make sure I can maximize my calories being burned, and that way I can be at a calorie deficit at the end of the day. How much cardio you're gonna do is different for a lot of people here. Like I said, there is no biological fairness. So when it comes to that, I'm gonna give you a general guide, but it isn't the rule. Let's say you're just starting out. I would say that any form of cardio, whether you're doing the Stairmaster, you're running outside, running on the treadmill, using the bike, elliptical, are going to help you get into that high heart rate to burn calories, to make sure that you drop that body fat. You want to do those exercises probably 4 days a week. That's what I find that's good for beginners. And don't measure time. You want to measure calories burned. The reason is because you're going to have different levels of intensity that's going to be on different days. Like some days you're going to feel very energetic, and some days you're going to feel kind of lethargic. So if you measure calories burned, it's going to be the best gauge of how to stay consistent. And so 4 days a week, I would say 200 calories burned is a good way to start off. The mindset of dropping body fat, you want to make sure that you're kind of thinking of it this way. First, you want to think, clean up my diet. Your first thing should not be, I need to do more cardio. That should not be the answer. You want to first think to myself, let me clean up my diet. Because here's the thing, if you're doing a lot of strength training, you don't want to keep adding cardio to that. Matter of fact, you want to try to scale down your cardio. Now, cardio is good because you're actually going to burn more calories in the same amount of time than you would be lifting weights or doing strength training. But what you want to do is combine the two and then add in some cardio if you've reached this plateau. So let's think about it this way. The first thing that you want to do is that you want to think to yourself that, one, I just need to get to the gym. Getting to the gym is the first part, okay? Make sure you go. If you're in a situation right now where you can't go to the gym, I have plenty of videos that's going to show you home workouts using resistance bands. Just get yourself active, go to the gym. The next thing is that you want to incorporate resistance training. You want to make sure that you're lifting weights, that you are using some type of bands. Any type of resistance training is going to really help you get to your goals. The next thing you want to do is clean up that diet. I can't stress that enough. You can't out-train a bad diet. If you're going to say like, well, I'm going to eat donuts today and I'm going to get on the treadmill for 2 hours, it's not really going to work for you that way, especially if you're a person that's already active and you've reached a plateau. Now, this is the time to incorporate cardio. You incorporate cardio now. Once you've done those things, you're going to the gym, you're doing resistance training, you've cleaned up your diet, and you've reached this plateau. So once you've reached that, that's when I would say it's time to start incorporating cardio into your diet. So that way you can now adjust your body. Because shocking that body and now reaching more of a calorie deficit is going to get you there. Then from there, you want to start off finding out where am I at body-wise, okay? So I would first start off what I recommended with the 200 calories burned 4 days a week. If that is something that you start seeing results, I would stick with that and don't go up or anything like that. If there is a time where you're doing it and you're not really seeing results, I would up that by 50 more calories per day. So you want to try to gauge it that way. And once you've reached a level of body fat where you're at, I would scale down on that cardio there and try to increase my resistance training, because you want to do as much resistance training as you can without doing a lot of cardio. So here's an example. When people are always thinking, I need to do more cardio to lose body fat or to lose weight. So let's say you're running an hour each day, or you're on the elliptical or the Stairmaster an hour, and you haven't reached your goal. So what's your next thing you're gonna do? You're going to do another hour? Okay, you do that. Now you're gonna do 3. That's gonna be insanity for you, and you're gonna be really burnt out when you do that, and you're not gonna really gain any muscle mass, and you're not gonna have that shape that you want. So that's the thing about it, is that you wanna add as much resistance training as you can, clean up your diet, and then go to that cardio. Another thing that we wanna think about is that the more of muscle mass we have, the faster our metabolism is going to be. So let's say you're not doing any resistance training and you're only doing cardio there and you haven't increased your muscle mass. If you're dieting, you're going to have to really keep your diet or your calories at an extremely low level, and I find that kind of hard to maintain over time. So having more muscle mass is going to give you a little bit more wiggle room in your diet there, especially when you have birthdays, celebrations, all that stuff, it all comes up. You want to understand that having more muscle mass is a good thing for you. I find that with men, they're all about it, but with women, they're kind of worried about, oh, I don't want to look like a big meathead, and I don't want to have those big muscles or anything like that. Genetically, that's not something, even if you lift a ton of weights as a woman, that you're going to look like that. If you see women that look super muscular to the point where it kind of looks that bodybuilder stage view, and I'm not talking about like the bikini side or the kind of the slimmer side of the aesthetics there, but like kind of like overly big, trust me, they have some help. Using weights is not going to make you look like a big meat Hulk, Incredible Hulk type woman. It's really going to make you look very athletic in tone. You're gonna have that lift in your booty, all those type of things there. So don't be afraid to lift weights along with doing cardio there. So those are some key points that I want you to leave with when it comes to doing cardio, because I get that question a lot. I just want to make sure that we go over these things here, because cardio, yes, it is something that can really aid in helping you lose body fat and or weight, but it shouldn't be the first thought we have when it comes to losing weight or body fat. So here's my lovely wife to tell you about her experience.
What do you want me to talk about?
Talk about cardio.
So if you're new to the channel, or you've been someone who's been watching us, you know, I have stated in the previous video about us talking about intermittent fasting that the body type that I have is that I easily gain weight in the midsection area, aka my stomach, especially when it's almost that time of the month and getting a lot of bloating there. So growing up, my, I guess, mentality or what I thought was to get rid of fat, especially belly fat, is to do a lot of cardio, do a lot of running and stuff like that. It wasn't until I met David here that he not only had to convince me, but also prove to me that strength training actually is what helps to keep body fat down more so than cardio. And I am a testimony to that. It did take a lot of work in order for that to happen, let alone get my mindset around it. But I will say, I do get caught up at times. There have been times where I'll tell David, especially if he's out of town, I'm like, oh yeah, I upped the amount of minutes I'm doing. I need to do cardio twice during my workout, so I'll do it right at the beginning and then do the strength training and then do cardio again, because
and she thinks that I'm going to be ecstatic about this.
Yes,
and then she gets like this different response, and she's like, why are you mad at me? And it's like, no, I'm like here to help, but that's not what you should be thinking, because she was definitely of that mindset.
Right, but more so than anything else, I would say that by By listening to David, I will say I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life. However, I still feel like I still have a ways to go. I'll be frank with you guys. I don't have a six-pack or anything like that. That's like a big battle, or I guess you could say something that I really want to achieve. I do see him peeking out and stuff like that, but more so than anything else, it's the self-discipline. Eating is a big factor. So it doesn't matter how much cardio you're doing. If your eating is crap, you're not gonna get great results or anything like that. I would just say that yes, cardio is something that is important, but it's not the end all be all to you losing weight. I think the reason why we feel that cardio is something that we need is because of that gratification or feeling like you got something done. When you're sweating and breathing and panting, you're thinking, yeah, that fat is getting burned, versus just solely relying on strength training, let alone I don't know, it's just something I think that society and just people have been ingrained in our heads that cardio is the way to go in order to burn fat, or be the only reason how to burn fat.
Well, you brought up a good point. Like when we first started doing our cardios after our workout, we would do HIIT training. For those who don't know, high interval training, where we would run for 1 minute as fast as we can.
Yeah.
2 minutes, do a leisure walk. 1 minute as fast as we can, the leisure walk. And then I started reading some studies about how that actually burns more carbohydrates than it does fat. Mm-hmm. And it really depletes your carbohydrates. So when you're doing your workouts, like later on, you're going to lose a lot of energy. And so actually going at a steady, consistent pace and then burning those same amount of calories taps more into your fat burning zone. And it was like hard for me to be like, well, you know, you feel like you're sweating, you're huffing and puffing, like this is the right thing to do. Like I was thinking that the whole time, and I'm pretty sure you were thinking the same thing that way too. But as soon as I changed my mindset and said like, okay, let me just try this out, like I saw more results doing it that way, of doing that kind of consistent jog or the elliptical. We like to do the ellipticals ourselves because my dad was an avid runner and he had some bad knees. So I prefer the elliptical myself.
I love the Stairmaster.
Well, she moved me on to the Stairmaster. I mean, it's a killer, but it definitely works. So I've now incorporated the Stairmaster, but because of the whole situation that's going on in the country right now, we run up the stairs like fools. Like up and down. We live in a townhouse, so we go up and down the stairs all the time.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
But I just wanted to have people here and the women out there to hear a different perspective when it comes to losing body fat or losing weight. And another point that she brought out, she's like, I don't have that six-pack there. She's not where I want to be. Well, let me tell you the reality when it comes to the fitness game or losing weight or losing body fat. If you're a person who's very dedicated, you're never going to really reach that level where I feel like, okay, I'm perfect now. Like, there's always going to be a new mountain to climb. And the thing is that I always have to remind Monique and show her that she has come a long way. And we look at photos and stuff like that, and other people talk about our physiques. And the thing is that she's so very much wrapped up of the perfect body when it comes to that there. And you need to make sure, especially folks out there that are watching, there isn't a perfect body. It's what you love about yourself. And that's the key to this, is that no matter where you're at, you're going to have to make sure you tackle that you love the body that you have, okay? Not the body that you're looking at in the magazines and stuff like that, because trust me, there's a lot of Photoshop out there. There's a lot of people out there using different supplements that are not really putting in that work there. So make sure you love yourself before you get so wrapped up in that I gotta get a six-pack and I gotta do this here. But also a little bit of that in your mind that's letting you know that like, hey, I need to work a little bit harder and stuff. That's good, but don't let that take over you. So I leave you with that today, that you wanna make sure that you love yourself, you love your body, and if you like this video, hit the like button, and make sure that you consistently make sure that you keep with this formula. Consistency plus intensity equals results. So thank you for watching today. Monique, thank you for coming on and describing your experience. She didn't know that she was coming on. She's like, I gotta do my hair, I gotta do this here. And I was just like, you look great. Really thank you for coming on, and thank everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you love the videos, and until next time, I'm Disciplined Dave and my wife Monique. Goodbye.